So, picture this. You're a kid during the turn of the millennium, the mystical far-off year of 2000.
Here's to another lousy millennium.
You and the rest of your cohort are currently absolutely fucking obsessed with Pokemon. You have the games, the cards, you watch the show, you dial up and get online every day to learn and theorize about Missing No, Bill's Garden, and Peekaboo. However, for some reason, you missed when Pokemon the first movie came to theaters last year. So you ask your parents to get a copy of it when it comes out on home video, and luckily enough, you receive the DVD release of the movie for your birthday. As you scan the box, you notice this tiny little icon in the back corner. PC friendly? You have a PC, you use it every day. So you open up your disk drive, put the DVD in the tray, and nothing happens. It was 2000. Basically, no one had PC DVD drives yet. You just put a DVD in a CD-ROM drive.
This kid was not me, actually. I barely existed in the year 2000, and my childhood copy of Pokemon the first movie was on VHS. This is actually Mewtwo Returns, a later TV special, and where my lifelong fixation on this character actually started. My original copy of Pokemon the first movie is unfortunately lost to time. But anyway, I do align with pretty much every other aspect of this theoretical child. I was a kid obsessed with Pokemon in the 2000s. Pokemon the first movie was my favorite movie until Wreck-It Ralph won my teenage heart, and I didn't learn the difference between disc formats until shockingly late. So the actual story here is I wanted a good copy of this movie for my physical media collection. I had the Blu-ray, but I wanted a copy I could watch on DVD with my standard definition CRT. The more recent DVD release is fine, but it's in the movie's original pretty much 16:9 format, which has massive black bars on that TV. I wanted to see the movie in 4:3 like I did as a kid on VHS. So I tracked down a copy of the original DVD release on eBay. When it came in, I put the disc into my computer to rip it to my Plex server and noticed there was an EXE file on the disc. What followed was a delightful experience, one that really tugged at my nostalgia for the early internet and Gen 1 Pokemon, and well, I think experiences like this are especially worth remembering and documenting now that companies want physical media to go the way of the dodo. Plus, there's an interesting story here about Interactual Technologies, the company responsible for all of this, and their allegations of pushing anti-consumer DRM schemes and bundling spyware. Let's get started. Hi, welcome back. I'm Seth. So this is Rotor, my Pentium 3 computer, contemporary to the mid-2000s, which you might have seen in a previous video where it was my only desktop computer for 2 weeks. It dual boots Windows 98 and 2000, and today we'll be using it to explore this DVD. Pokemon the first movie released to DVD on March 21st of 2000, so if you had hardware capable of actually experiencing all of this back in the day, you were probably running Windows 98. So I've made a complete bit-for-bit copy of the DVD to use for this video. I'm trying to keep the actual original DVD safe. That copy's special to me. It's not worth anything on eBay to anybody else, but you know, I wasn't kidding about the Mewtwo fixation. And again, just to reiterate, having a DVD drive in 2000 was hella baller. So the disc doesn't auto-run. I'm not sure if that's just my install having the setting turned off or Windows in general updating. Auto-run's kind of a huge security hole, right? You don't want any removable media just automatically running programs on startup. This DVD contains special features specifically designed for your PC. My PC? Well, yeah, I got to install that. This product requires Internet Explorer. If you do not have it installed, oh yeah, I guess if you're using Windows 95, you didn't necessarily have Internet Explorer. Oh, and there's the nice registration ask. Foreshadowing is a literary device. All right, so let's run PC friendly. Okay, bootleg Pikachu there for a split second. Yeah, it's looping 3 seconds of part of the anime intro. Somebody went and tried to color in Ash in MS Paint and didn't cover everything. That's great. Oh, and his fingers just look butchered. Oh. All right, Pikachu's jumping up and down. There's some sparkly effects. They're looping a different part, or at least a longer part of the intro. Oh, they're playing part from the second verse. Fun fact, there is a second verse to the original Pokemon anime intro. So we've got some channels on the side. They each play a nice sound effect. Does that not sound just like the metal bonk sound to anyone? Okay. We gotta see some special web events, right? Maybe there's one I can go to, local in my area. Maybe there's hot Pokemon fans in my area. Oh yeah, okay, so this is just gonna be full of all kinds of dead links, and they're gonna open up in goddamn Internet Explorer like God intended. Yeah, it's gonna try real hard and get nowhere. This computer is actually connected to the internet, for better or for worse, but it's not gonna work. Pokemon Web World, all right. Oh no. Welcome Pokemon Master in the Making on November 10th, which, November 10th, November 12th, what date was it? You only saw this, at least on this disc, after the movie had come out, so I don't know why it's referencing a date that had already passed. This might have been what part of the Pokemon website looked like before the movie came out. They might have just copy and pasted what was promotional material from the Pokemon website and put it on this disc. We got nice Pokeballs here. A lot of iconics, you know, you got Pikachu, you got Mewtwo, you got Bulbasaur. And then they got Poliwhirl. Bro really thinks he's on the team. You know what I'm going with? I'm going with my autism comfort character. Mewtwo welcomes me. Does he? He doesn't seem very welcoming in this movie, at least for the first 90% of it. So what's Pokemon goodies, all right? Download cool Pokemon backgrounds. I want some backgrounds. Why not catch all the desktop patterns? Send a web card to all your trainer friends. Yeah. Whoa, wait. Okay, that's actually pretty cool. There's something about how these images are compressed, the style of like late 90s compression, that just really works for screenshots of this film. Some of these are pretty random. I don't know why they grabbed these specific shots, but okay, that one's pretty good. There he is. Look at him. He's just a baby. He was just born, okay? Can you really blame him for wanting to hug everyone? Or farming in front of the island he destroyed. Okay, we got Sea King. Everyone's favorite Pokemon, Sea King.
Not as special as Sea King.
All right, set as background. Yeah, there we go. 4K Ultra HD quality. Send a web card. So is this like what you would send alongside an email? Ah, okay. Here's another dead link in Comic Sans, of course. And yeah, it just tries to link back to this web interface. Let's go to Pokemon. Oh, this must be a Flash game or something. Yeah, the Shockwave plugin. Yeah, click here and then go. No, that's another dead link. Yeah. Oh wait, no, is it? Holy crap, it's gonna work. But isn't that just delightful? The Comic Sans, the random art taken from the official art book or just a screenshot from the anime. So let's see the making of Pokemon. Witness the rarest Pokemon of all in their first feature film. Ash Ketchum and fellow Pokemon trainer Misty and Brock are about to embark on a great adventure, the continuing quest to become the greatest Pokemon masters of all time. Oh man, and then we got a wall of text and it just continues. So if this seems out of place, it's not. This is coming from the tail end of the age where you'd go to the library or pick up an encyclopedia to get information. So much of like definitely Web 1.0 internet was just blocks of text like this. And I think that it's really cool. My brain recoils a bit because, you know, I'm Gen Z, right? I grew up with Vine and
YouTube
and everything, right? My attention span is completely shot. But I miss when the world was more flatly informative, right?
Basically, I just miss the time before the attention economy where raw information like this could be the meat and potatoes of content. Nowadays, everything is designed to hack our brain's attention systems, and it makes raw information like this, which should be valuable for its own sake, a lot harder to focus on for a lot of people.
Like, there's actually a lot of like good information in here if you're not somebody familiar with Pokemon and you're just some parent who's like, what the hell are my kids watching? What differentiated this game from soccer games past was the imaginative and multi-layered world and its inherent mythology created for the player's trainers, which itself was based on 20th century tools of advanced technology. Also, all the trainers engaged in battles with their captured species vanquished Pokemon are simply knocked unconscious, not killed. Industry watchdogs liken the game to a Mensa version of rock, paper, scissors. And I got Mewtwo aura farming, all right. I'm making that my background real quick. Set as background. Oh, come on. Did it work? Yeah, it worked. All right. We're done. The video's over. That's all I wanted. All right, Pokemon pop quiz. Brock, Pokemon breeder. Breeder, huh? I don't remember him breeding too many Pokemon in the anime. I do remember him eyeing down some of them women, huh? The ladies. Am I right? Pokemon nerds. Brock was kind of a chud.
It's a girl?
She can violate my rights.
Fellow jelly donut eaters. All right, number one. Who's that Pokemon? Obviously, that's Zapdos. So I'm gonna. Well, so this is just wrong. Obviously, that's definitely Zapdos. Which Pokemon are known to make the best nurses? Definitely coughing, right? All the poison gas. It's a special kind of poison that heals you. We all know it's Chansey. We all know that's Grimer. And what's our prize? Yo, another background. Wait, is Eevee that tiny? Oh my god. These must be based on like the Pokedex, because the Pokedex has some really, really whack information on it. What is it? It's like Wailord, by its Pokedex information, is so light and so big that it's like less dense than air. That's obviously Raichu? Poliwag. Yay, what's another one? Do we get it? Nothing? I got no prize. Wow, this is a scam. I've been scammed. This is Scyther, obviously. Now that's a Pokemon the first movie joke.
There goes Alakazam!
How many seconds does it take a Slowpoke to feel pain? Wait, what?
Imagine being a kid in 2000 that's just absolutely starved for whatever little Pokemon media they can get their hands on.
This would have been amazing. I would have been all over this back in the day. I would have printed these out and pasted them on my walls. That was something that I did as a kid. Which attack doesn't work on a rock Pokemon? Well, all of these work, but they mean ground. Ground is immune to electric, not rock. So, actually an issue. Actually just incorrect. Yay, more just Pokemon. This seems like basic now, but I don't know about you, but this is just really, really charming to me. Back in the day, if you wanted to see stuff like this, you had to get a magazine. You had to go to the library. You had to like go to a place. Pokemon Paths. What is that? Okay, so just more dead links. Yeah, it's just not gonna connect. Game guide, all right. Pikachu's kind of tweaking out. Not sure why. Here we go, anime Japanese animation. So now we've just got some information on Japanese animation. Animation has existed since the dawn of history. Although not called by that name or known as a genre, animation was then simply humankind's desire to tell a story using moving pictures. For example, early Greek pottery was the canvas for successive drawings of an athlete in motion. And then Charmeleon came to existence, and then Peak happened. So this is kind of, stuff you'd see in like a textbook or in like, I guess, Wikipedia. Isn't this just neat? I don't know, this just tickles my fancy so much. I love this. Yeah, talking about Astro Boy and Kimba the White Lion. Honestly, there's a lot of stuff in here I don't even know that much about. We're also going to talk about Evangelion. Please, where's Evangelion? Evangeline. Talk about Atari, Tennis for Two. All right, okay, they're really getting into like the old stuff. First wave, Charizard. Yeah, Charizard started video games. Charizard is Mr. Video Game, actually. Just put random Pokemon. Because otherwise it's just a complete wall of text. I guess they didn't want to put like an image of Pong? They didn't want to put that on the disc for some reason? Oh yeah, the crash of 1984. All right. See, this is just like neat information.
At this point, search engines barely existed. There weren't any stupid AI overviews.
Somebody had to write all of this. I wonder if somebody like a Warner Brothers employee had to write this, or if this was just taken from an encyclopedia or something like that. They're talking about the Dreamcast? The Dreamcast was like still not discontinued when this movie came out.
Okay, so this is all super neat and everything, but what is this? Why is this here? Who made this? So, PC Friendly, software that would later be known as Interactual Player, was made by Interactual Technologies, a company founded in 1995 based out of San Jose, California. As far as I can tell, the only real product that they ever shipped was this player that allowed for additional interactive and web-connected features for DVD movies. Even though basically no one remembers the company itself, their software was all over DVDs in the early to mid-2000s. If I'm extrapolating right on their website, there's at the very least over 500 movies released with Interactual slapped on the disc, which has gotta mean millions and millions of physical discs out in the wild. If you're young enough to have not grown up during the heyday of optical media, here's a quick recap. Special features were all the rage back in the day. Studios tried to pack as many extra goodies as they could onto discs, so you'd buy theirs rather than renting movies or buying their competitors' discs. There could be some really neat stuff in there. Commentaries, deleted scenes, maybe a crude basic menu game if they were really feeling spicy. But for anything more complex than video or menus, a computer was required, and Interactual seemed to be the biggest name in town for that specifically. I don't think I know anyone who bothered to put DVD movies in their computer. I didn't until just now, and I don't know, I prefer my couch. But the special features were there anyway. Interactual kept cranking out discs like this until eventually Blu-ray came along, and some of the patents they held on interactive movie feature tech were integrated into the BD Live and BD Java formats. But after Blu-ray and eventually streaming services took hold, Interactual sorta just faded into the ether. They were apparently on the brink of bankruptcy, maybe, before being bought by Sonic Solutions in 2004, which was bought by Rovi in 2010, now TiVo. So, was PC Friendly, aka Interactual Player, a failure? Well, yes, but maybe not completely. I think the fact that basically no one remembers them despite being free on millions of DVDs speaks for itself, but who knows how much they actually got paid for all the technology they provided to movie studios. What is clear is that they weren't the most consumer-friendly company out there. For what little information exists about Interactual, a fair chunk of it is complaints that their player is spyware or otherwise complicit in anti-consumer DRM schemes. It may be hard to believe, since DVDs are now easily ripped and any security features have long since been bypassed, but DVDs are actually technically encrypted, and there was a time when companies tried to limit disc copying, and Interactual was totally game to try and thwart legitimate buyers copying the movies that they bought with their own goddamn money. For example, there was a special DVD release of Terminator 2, the Extreme DVD version, that came with Interactual Player, but also came with an HD copy of the movie on disc that could only be watched if you put the disc in a fairly powerful at the time computer. However, that HD copy wasn't just a file you could double-click and play. It used a special Windows Media 9 DRM scheme that required connecting to the internet to confirm your license to play the movie every 5 days. People were, not happy about that. Oh, and I haven't even told you about the spyware yet. There's a really good Interhack article from all the way back in 2002 outlining exactly what PC Friendly does to surveil its users and phone home. Basic registration data is gathered, a unique user ID is created, and it even reports back with what DVD you have playing and what buttons you've clicked in the menus. Ugh. It apparently also sent your user ID to Netflix, presumably for advertising reasons? I didn't even know Netflix existed in 2002. Oh, and to top it all off, apparently the original PC-friendly software just didn't have a privacy policy, and when the Interactual Player eventually got one, it told you to just read it without actually linking to it. Great, super confidence-inspiring. So yeah, as much as I think all of this bonus content is super neat and nostalgic, good riddance to Interactual. Just to be clear, this sort of tracking is all over the place nowadays. I think basic phoning home like this is pretty quaint compared to the Orwellian nightmare we live in now. But just because the world is worse now doesn't mean this tracking wasn't and isn't super bad. It's kind of like Bonzi Buddy, you know? If you're computer-brained enough to know what that is. It's super nostalgic, fun to return to, and totally benign spyware now. But it's still important to understand and recognize that software like this is bad, and part of how we got into the privacy hellhole that we're in now.
So, moral of the story? Physical media is fucking awesome. Bonus content is great, and I think we're genuinely losing out on a lot of cool stuff by trying to sunset physical media. But also, DRM sucks. Super glad we broke DVDs wide open super early. And for all the cool experiences that Interactual helped make, El Bozo, good riddance. I hope Meta and EXE or whoever else suffer the same fate. With that said, thank you for watching. If you like this little video reliving some turn the millennium internet media, consider liking or subscribing. I've got more videos in the works just like this one that you will probably like. Anyway, that's all for now. Have a good one.